Hello, fam. I hope everyone's doing great today. Um, the marriage relationship, husband and wife, or male, female, whatever, has come up quite a bit, and over my years, I've seen a lot, I've advised a lot, I've experienced a lot, and I just kind of wanted to share some of these things really quickly. Though there are some people that I could specifically point to in a lot of these, I'm going to try to keep it as general as possible. And those who have an ear to hear, let them hear. If it strikes you, then it strikes you. That means that's an area you need to address. And though this slide is titled What a Husband Is or Is Not, women, you ain't getting off that easy, because I got one for y'all too. So, but first of all, a husband is honest. He's not a liar. He's going to be upfront. He's going to be truthful. He's not going to lie to you. If he's lying, then that's a problem, because she is putting her life on hold. I know I shouldn't say it like that. She's living a different life based on information that you're telling her. So if you're lying to her, then you have her living a life that's based on a lie. And that's just unfair. That's not fair. Actually, that's not husband material. That's not adult, mature male material. Faithfulness. A husband is faithful, and he's not a cheater. Now, if you entered a relationship with the intent to be monogamous, and both of you agreed to that, then you stand on that, and you be faithful, and you don't cheat on her. I don't care how many ex-girlfriends or ex-wives or ex-whomevers you got. I don't care what's going on in their life. Cheating is a choice. And, you know, that seduction is pretty strong. And there are a lot of people out there that might want to get with you because they want you, because they want your resources, or because they just don't want you married, or because they don't like your wife. And they are going to plot and plan to pull you away. And oftentimes, cheating is one of the biggest ways that help to create a breakup in a marriage, because it destroys the trust. And most people, especially husbands, I would say, are not willing to do the work to rebuild the trust. So cheating is a very, very dangerous thing. If you go into a relationship with her, if you take her off the market, you remove her from availability to all other men, and then you turn around and cheat on her, that's lower than low. And it also says to her, she was your world to the point of marriage, to the point of making a life together, and then you turn around and you throw it away because you wanted a piece over here, or because you needed to talk to someone and she wasn't available. Well, you know what? Get her attention. You got her attention when you went on a date. You got her attention when you proposed. You got her attention every time you laid up on her. You know how to get her attention. Number 3, a husband is loving and patient, and he's not abusive. That's pretty self-explanatory as far as the loving and patience goes. You love her, show her. And that doesn't mean go rush out and buy expensive jewelry all the time, but show her, touch her, caress her. When you walk in, life has kicked you all day long, but when you walk in that door, you make an effort to show her that you love and appreciate her, no matter what she's been doing all day, whether she's at home, whether she's working part-time, and who knows, whatever the circumstances are for your household. But you make it a point to show her that you love her. Patience. Be patient with her. You know, us women, it takes us an extra 20 minutes to get to a point, because we have to have the extra additives and descriptives in what we say and do. You guys don't. Keep that in mind. But abuse, not necessary. Unacceptable, And that's a whole nother subject, actually. But being abusive, being verbally abusive, when you walk in the door and life's been kicking your butt at work, and the man's on you, and traffic was crazy, and bills are due, and the kids are screaming, and all of that, is it her fault? Is it fair for you to emotionally dismantle her because life is kicking you, or life is kicking the two of you? So you're dumping on her. You're belittling her. You're putting her down because of life. Think about that. Physical, definitely, it's never acceptable to put your hands on a woman. Well, let me correct that, because in the female slide, I'm going to address that as well. But no, it's not acceptable to fight. Understandable, especially early on in relationships, husbands and wives have not necessarily learned how to handle conflicts appropriately. There might be one or two situations where it gets a little out of hand, but that's when you seek help and you find the right ways to resolve your issues without getting to the point of being abusive. And then, like I said, abuse is a big category, but it can go into the medical, it can go into the psychological, it can go into financial. And you definitely don't want to abuse her financially. Number 4, a husband is considerate and edifying, not controlling and restrictive. He is considerate of her. So when she says, honey, I got to go out for girls' day. I'm worn out. I just need girls' night out. Or, matter of fact, I just need a girl night in by myself. What do? You grab the kids and you go hang out at grandma's or at the park or at Chuck E. Cheese or wherever y'all go, and give her her time to be, to woosah, to let loose, to unwind. And at the same time you're doing that, you're edifying her, you're building her up. You're allowing her to release and to break down for a couple hours so that she can be rebuilt back up. But being controlling, restricting, no, you can't go out with the girls. You went out last month or last week with the girls. Well, you know what? There have been 6 days between today and last week. And a lot has happened in those 6 days. So when she goes out the door, doesn't mean she has to call you the moment she gets in the car, and then call you when she gets where she's going, and check in the whole time that she's there, so that you can do what? Keep tabs on where she is, keep tabs on whether she's woosahing or not, keep tabs on who's there, listening in the background to see who's there, that sort of stuff. Restricting, well, yeah, you can go, but I don't really want you to go to this girl's house, go to that girl's house. Or no, you can't go if there's going to be a male around. No, I don't want you there. Or no, I don't want you, it's not a good idea for you to go to your parents' house if you don't like the parents for whatever reason. Because if you guys have been honest with each other, you've been faithful, you've been loving and patient and considerate, then there should be no place that you should need to restrict her from. Trust that she's going to go and she's going to carry herself appropriately. She's going to do what it is she said she was going to do, woosah, and bring her little self right on back home, ready to suck up another week's worth or 2 weeks or a month, however long it takes her to get to her point of needing a break away from everything that life has to offer during that time. A husband is an owner of his stuff. He owns his stuff. He's not going to dump on the wife or the rest of the world or someone else his stuff. And women, well, yeah, this is the husband's video, my bad. Own the fact that you've got stuff. You have a history. From the day you were born until the day you got with her, you had a life, which means you have history. And 99% of us don't deal with the issues of our past, of our lives. Own that. Own the fact that that is playing a role in how you interact with your wife today. Own the fact that when you go to work and your boss is on you and you have to commute an hour in traffic and the bank said no for the loan and the car note is due and life is happening. Just, life, you're getting hit from all different directions. Those may be your things. That's your stuff. That's your set of the baggage. Own that. Don't dump it all on her. It's not fair to dump it on her. And it's definitely not fair to have the emotions or the silent aggression, if you will, from your stuff and turn around and say to her, well, I'm feeling this way because you didn't have sex with me last night. Or I'm feeling this way because you're not cooking the food. The food's not the issue. The fact that she didn't cook is not the issue. The fact is you've got some stuff that you need to deal with in an appropriate way, probably having a woosah day or a hot bath or, whatever it is. Vacation, who knows? And instead of you owning it, you're trying to dump it on her. Put the ego away. Get rid of the ego. The ego will destroy you. It will destroy your marriage. It will destroy her. And so, as I said, I kind of explained it already, but no, he is not a deflector. He's not afraid to stand in his truth. And his truth may be that, I don't know, he was adopted. And so we don't talk so much about it from the men. We hear about it more from the women. But if a boy child, a male child, is given up for adoption, he deals with the same rejections and am I good enough and self-esteem and all that other stuff in life as a woman does. Own that. It's okay to own it, because here's the deal. If you don't own it, you can't deal with it. And then you carry it. Even though you may think you're going through life and everything's great. There's a little piece of bag that you have. And it's going to impact your relationships going forward. So own it. And back to being honest. If your wife knew that and she heard you own that and how it's impacting you, you'd be surprised how much more loving and patient and considerate and edifying she'd be towards you if you owned it. Women are nurturers. That's what we do. But she can only nurture that which you tell her. Well, let me correct that. She will try to nurture those things that you show her that are unsaid. But there's some stuff oftentimes that men hold deep down inside that they won't even let out. And when they deflect it to something else, the wife is playing a guessing game as to what it is. Imagine if you owned that stuff to her. If you were just an open book to her, honestly, put yourself out there. Imagine how much nurturing she would do. She'd probably go to the ends of the earth to help you get whatever resources you need to be on top of that. So that would be under your feet, so to speak. A husband is accountable. He's not a denier of responsibility for his stuff. And in this, I mean bottom line. Husband, when you screw up, own it. Admit it. Take accountability for your actions. If you went out there and you cheated, don't twist it around to, I cheated because you weren't giving me enough attention. You made a choice to cheat. You made a choice to temporarily satisfy your own selfish need instead of denying yourself and making the situation with your spouse where it needed to be so that you could actually get that need met by your spouse. You chose to do that. So don't blame it on her. You blame it on yourself. Because chances are, if you're out there cheating, she's sitting at home wondering where you are and what's going on and what she did wrong that you're not home with her. How about if you just talk to her, open your mouth? Well, honey, you know what? I've been feeling a little neglected lately, and then life's been kicking here and there, and all this stuff is going on, and da-da-da, and whatever. And so I'm feeling like if things don't change, I might not be able to maintain myself appropriately. Trust, she'll do something different. She's going to try to step up and say, okay, well, what do I need to do different? And then be prepared to tell her. Don't make her guess. Number 7, he's a defender and protector, and he's not afraid to stand for his wife. Well, men pretty much have an idea that they're supposed to defend and protect their wives, and oftentimes they do when it comes to physical violence from outsiders. If you're in a restaurant and someone touches your wife inappropriately, or a waiter may come out his face the wrong way at your wife or something, yeah, you guys tend to stand for that. But what happens when it's your mom that's saying something inappropriate about your wife? What happens when it's your friend, when it's your pastor, when it's your ex? Do you stand for your wife in those times? And if you don't stand for her, then you are letting your wife know that these people can actually take jabs at her, and you're not going to do anything. And so do you really expect her to think that you're protecting her or have her best interests when you allow others to take jabs at her and you do nothing? Keep that in mind, bros. Keep that in mind. It's not just defending and protecting her from the guy that's going to break into the house. Most often it's defending and protecting her from your mother, your sister, your cousin, your exes, your pastors, your anyone else in your life that's not her. And finally, a husband is unified in the relationship or working towards it, and that comes over time. You have to learn that. You have to learn the tricks of what others do to break the unity or to get in between there. So you're going to get tricked, and you have to develop that, and that's why I put and working towards it. But he's going to stand in unity with his spouse. You made a commitment, a covenant to stand with her. She took herself off the market. She has made life changes, rerouted, probably was going to do nursing school, but in order for her to be the wife that she feels like she needs to be and you want her to be, she changed from nursing school and maybe did medical assisting school, which takes a less amount of time, and she can get to working quicker and put more effort into being the spouse and or mother. Keep that in mind. A husband definitely is not open to others in his marriage, period, no matter who it is. Again, that goes back to not being afraid to stand against anybody who tries to come in your marriage. You're not going to have them folk in your bedroom. Let's say, for example, your brother or your pastor, all up in your marriage. I wouldn't let her do that, man. I wouldn't, I'm not tolerating that. And she need to have my food waiting on me when I walk in the door. And out of line. Because what they're doing is they're putting your wife down, and they're creating discord. They're creating seeds to break that unity. You don't even realize it. You're just listening to it. What you need to do is shut all of that down. Nobody should be able to come to you about your wife. They can come say, look, she had a car wreck and this is the hospital. Let me help you get there. They can come to you and say, hey, look, I was thinking she was looking a little tired lately. Spruce up and take her on a weekend vacation. That's fine. But to come to you and say, oh, well, she's not wearing her hair like a proper woman should, or she's she's not cooking the foods you need to eat, or she's not sexing you enough, or whatever it is. They're way out of line. They're way out of line. And a husband, a real husband, a mature husband, is not going to stand for that. He's not going to stand for mama talking about, oh, well, she can't cook, da-da-da. What he would stand for is saying, okay, mama, if you think she can't cook, then y'all need to get together and have just a cooking session. You, her, and all the other girls in the family just have some cooking sessions. Or what about mama, y'all swap recipes? Or what about mama, you come over, and of course with your wife's permission, and we'll have a cooking session at our house. Because if you think she can't cook, and I might not be in agreement with the way she cooks either, then she has to learn. She has to be taught. Now, of course, you husbands, you don't just come to your wife and say, hey, look, I set it up for mama to be over here on Friday night and she's going to help you learn how to cook the macaroni and cheese the way I like it. No, you have to present it to your wife. I like it this particular way, honey. And I can get a recipe, or I can get my mom, we can do it y'all can do it a couple times. And so which would you prefer? Give her some options in there. Make her a part of it. Make her a part of the agreement. At which point she's more receptive to it, and everybody's hunky-dory, because when it's all said and done, you got the biggest pot of macaroni and cheese, and you can just go to town on it. So just wanted to highlight those things really quickly. I did this once already, and actually there was an echo, so I had to redo it. But husbands, just know when you get to a point that you want to be a husband, that you want to ask a woman to give up her life for you, and whatever plans she may have had or whatever route she was on and all, you better be prepared to do all these things and more. If you're not prepared to do these things, or if you're not prepared to move away from the lying, the cheating, the abuse, the controlling and restrictive behavior and all that, you ain't ready to be nobody's husband. So don't ask her. And like I said, women, I got a slide for y'all too. So don't think this is just a husband male bashing. So yeah, that's it pretty much. Just, we have got to get to a point where we are working with each other and not against each other. Our relationships cannot survive as long as we're working against each other. Our marriages will not survive if we are not on the same page. And here's the kicker. You're not going to be on the same page all of your life. You may start on the same page. One is going to turn the page quicker than the other one. One is still going to be in chapter 2 while the other one is almost at chapter 3. That's what happens. But you don't get to 10 years, 20 years, 30 years anniversary if you're giving up because one is reading the book faster than the other one. No. The one who's faster, you slow down a little bit and you grab the hand of the one that's a little slower and say, okay, babe, where are you? I see you got stuck here at this page, so let me backtrack and catch you up so we can take off and move on through the rest of the book. Or it may be that the one that's reading slower may need to move some other stuff out of his life or her life. Get rid of that mama that's in your business. Get rid of that abusive behavior. Get rid of the lies and the cheats so that you can progress past page 2 and jump up to page 3 where she is. Those sorts of things. But that's it. And look forward to the one for the women. It's coming. It's going to be here as well. And I hope this has been a benefit to you. If you've got specific questions, comments, I'd love to hear them. And peace.